Great. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the AEGEA Saturday morning trading call. My name is Suzi Jackson, and I live in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm excited for you to be here to hear Dr. Pat and to learn about our technology. I've been in the home-based business industry for 18 years, and I had retired. But I came out of retirement because of AEGEA's fascinating technology. They have actually patented the process of capturing the frequencies of various substances, plant ingredients, grounding energies, and embedded them into wearable holograms that are changing people's lives. And this technology not only delivers amazing results, but it sets us up for the future. So I want to welcome you to the future of energy healing. With this technology, we can be extremely flexible. As there are new developments and health discoveries that take place, we can easily adapt because with this technology, we can capture the energy of anything and make a difference in the world. And one of the things that makes our products so special, we call them energentics. And the reason we call them energentics is because it's energy plus genetics. The energy that we have in our products reach all the way down to the cellular level, affecting the DNA. So it's absolutely huge, it's exciting, and you know what? We're just getting started. Today, we're going to be talking about one of our products, which is a nitric oxide patch that goes on the body. And we have a energy practitioner, Dr. Pat from North Carolina, who is going to be educating us today. Dr. Pat is a pastor, but she's also been an energy practitioner for over 40 years. And so she will talk to you about why she is a part of AEGEA and what she sees, what kind of attracted her. Let's talk about that first, Dr. Pat, before we get started on nitric oxide. Let me first welcome you to the call.
Thank you.
And I'll go ahead and put up your slides, and when you want me to change, you just tell me next. But go ahead and share with us why AEGEA for you and the future.
Well, with most of the people that come to me, they're looking for alternatives. They're wanting to improve their health. They're wanting to get off medications. And I kind of help them connect the dots for all these things that may not be working exactly right. And one of the things I think most of us are guilty of, even if we're taking a supplement that's really good for us or something that we should be using, with our busy schedules and our lifestyle today, it's very hard to be really consistent. And not only that, but I find that most of the people that I work with have digestive issues, and so they're not even absorbing the good beneficial part of any of the supplements that they're taking. So it's really wasteful. And so what I find that's so exciting about the qubits and the energy, the technology that AEGEA has brought to us is that we can have the constant benefit of whatever it is that we are using, just by virtue of having it on our bodies. And that way we don't even have to think about it anymore. We don't have to worry about stopping and taking supplements that are probably not going to benefit us as much as we would like, because they're having to pass through the digestive system and aren't being absorbed properly. So I just find that this technology is just really exciting. I do see that the future of medicine is moving more and more in that direction. Even traditional medicine is beginning to recognize that. My start was actually working with energy long before we talked about this type of energy. With frequencies, I do brain mapping and neurofeedback training. I feedback, relaxation training, trauma. I deal with all the underlying causes for those things, and it's all based on frequencies.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's go ahead and get started and tell us what we need to know about nitric oxide, why it's important, and the necessity of it.
Okay, so nitric oxide, really what it is it's a gas that's produced in every tissue and organ of your body, from your muscles to your brain. And it's a really powerful signaling molecule that we simply cannot live without. It affects every organ of the body. And it penetrates the membranes and sends specific messages. Your biological signals that regulate your cellular activity, and it also instructs the body to perform certain functions, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. Its production is essential for our overall health because it allows the blood, the nutrients that you take in, and your oxygen to travel to every part of your body effectively and efficiently. It's produced mainly in the endothelium, which is the layer of cells that's lining, that's the interior surface of all of your blood vessels throughout your body. Now, there's 4 essential bodily functions that nitric oxide has an impact on. So the vascular tone, what it does is it protects the blood vessels, muscle tissue from harmful constrictions, as it safeguards the health of the endothelium and promotes healthy blood pressure. For coagulation, what it does is it keeps your blood flowing, maintaining the vessels and the arteries at a prime level of cleanliness, while the nitric oxide enhanced vascular network performs like a Teflon, shedding the plaque and the platelets and inhibiting the clots from expanding or from forming in the first place. The inflammation part, it can intervene early in the process, preventing the thickening of the walls of the arteries and the buildup of fatty tissue. And then your oxidation process, oxygen, of course, is necessary for life, crucial for everything from breathing to keeping your heart beating. We need oxidation to burn the glucose to provide us with the energy. So the discovery, one of the things that science recently discovered the importance of nitric oxide when they awarded Dr. Ignarro a Nobel Award for Medicine in 1998. And the president of the American Heart Association said that the discovery of nitric oxide and its function is one of the most important in the history of cardiovascular medicine. Now, nitric oxide, so it's a signaling molecule for more than just your cardiovascular system, but obviously that's the most important. It's the master signaling molecule and you absolutely positively cannot live without nitric oxide. It is absolutely that crucial to your health. Most of us live very stressful lives. We don't realize that we're always in a fight or flight state. That means that because of that, the oxygen flow in our system is not the way it was designed to be. So you're not getting the proper oxygen carbon dioxide exchange, nor are you able to absorb the nourishment and the nutrients that's being provided in your system. So here, just talking about vascular toning and coagulation, which were the first 2 essential functions of the nitric oxide, it helps to preserve the elasticity of all the vessels, and it signals and tells the blood vessels when they need to increase in width or dilate. It relaxes and enlarges the blood vessels, ensuring that the blood can efficiently nourish the heart. Prevents the formation of blood clots, like I mentioned earlier. Slows and reverses accumulation of the plaque in the blood vessels. It can help lower cholesterol instead of taking your statin drugs, that like many people, and like the lady mentioned about her father a little earlier. Actually, I think that was blood pressure she was talking about. It guards against development of stomach ulcers, maintaining a normal blood flow to the mucosal lining of the gastrointestinal system. How cool is that? None of us really have thought about that before, but that's really important because so many of us have digestive issues, whether we want to admit it or not. And then it also acts as a neurotransmitter where it increases blood flow not only to the brain, but also to the genital area, playing an important part in your normal sexual function. What is that? Okay, so your cardiovascular system, I've already mentioned a lot of these things here, but I will highlight that it not only does it strengthen the interior walls of the arteries, it increases oxygen in your system, but it actually, there are studies that I'll show later that that has proven that it melts away plaque buildup. It normalizes your blood pressure, increases endurance, promotes quicker recovery from exercise and injury, and of course enhances male performance and improves your nutrient exchange. So the nitric oxide studies, as I'd mentioned, Dr. Cook, who from Stanford University, had done a number of studies where he is very openly promoting or publishing the results of these studies, showing that it does melt away and actually or shrink the plaque that's already there. And it can get rid of or shrink plaque that has already built up in the vessels, and it actually has the ability to melt away plaque. So all three of these statements have been published and correlates with studies that he has conducted through Stanford University.
Wow, that is really groundbreaking and really has the ability to dramatically affect cardiovascular health. That's huge.
Yes, and actually I do want to mention before we move on to inflammation that according to the CDC, that they have found that with the use of nitric oxide, that can decrease your risk of strokes and other other kinds of heart-related issues. But in addition to that, it can extend your lifespan by at least 7 more years.
Well, I think it's worth wearing the patches, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. So with the inflammation, this is, of course, used to support your immune system to stave off infectious bacteria, viruses, and parasites, and even curtails the proliferation of certain types of cancerous cells. It is shown to that the anti-inflammatory properties reduces swelling and discomfort for arthritis. It can help prevent diabetes complications, Alzheimer's disease, erectile dysfunction, arthritis, infections, and ulcers. And it's used to modulate pain and can excite the nerves and the brain to where they're not in low gear, and that they're actually functioning and regulating more appropriately. And then with the oxidation process, as I had mentioned earlier, it proves to be a very powerful antioxidant, where it deactivates the free radicals in the body that can contribute to America's 4 leading killers, which is cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. So here, I wanted you to see that in 1998, the Nobel Committee of medical doctors from all over the world, after reviewing all of Dr. Ignaro's notes and studies and reports, here were some of the outcomes of that, and I'm going to focus on, of course, we talked about the heart and how important it is with regards to that, but it reduces dangerously high blood pressure in the lungs of infants and even their critical care patients. They have used this in hospitals, so this has been proven to work even with infants and children as well. Cancer, they found that the white blood cells uses nitric oxide not only to kill the infectious agents, such as bacteria, fungi, and parasites, but it also helps to defend the host against tumors. The current testing to see if the nitric oxide can be used to stop the growth of tumors, since nitric oxide can induce programmed cell death, apoptosis. And so, and of course, we talked a little bit about addressing the issue of impotence. They've found that that has been very effective with that. Diagnostic analysis and helping with inflammatory diseases can be revealed by analyzing the production of nitric oxide from the lungs and the intestines, and can be used in diagnosing asthma, colitis, and many, many other diseases. They're finding more and more. So never thought about it from a, how it can be helpful in being more efficient in diagnosing. So, and then of course, it's very important for the olfactory system, senses, our capacity to recognize all of the different scents. So if there are people out there over time, they lose kind of their taste and their smell. They'll probably find that nitric oxide, after using nitric oxide and getting their levels back up, that it will even improve in those areas as well. And it's very important for enhancing and improving our immunity function.
Well, the slide is not producing. Is there another slide?
Yes, there's quite a few more.
Okay, let me see what's going on. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so so what I wanted to maybe mention about this is that there's a large and growing body of research that points to nitric oxide's broad impact on our own health, on all the bodily functions. Here are just a few. This is what this is showing us, not only with the cardiovascular system, but the respiratory system, your muscular skeletal system, all the cellular functions, your immune system, the nervous system, gastrointestinal tract, and sexual health. So there's more and more research being done every day, but with what we have, I can't believe that, I mean, this is actually absolutely a basic that everyone needs to improve their health. Okay. It's not moving.
It's, we'll make it move.
There we go. All right. So I know a lot of us wonder, well, The underproduction of nitric oxide develops when the endothelial tissue is damaged by age, an unhealthy lifestyle, illness, a toxic environment, or even a genetic propensity, and consequently nitric oxide production is impaired. And so the deficiency of nitric oxide contributes to the illnesses of more than 62 million Americans who suffer from elevated blood pressure, the arterial sclerosis, your heart disease, high blood pressure, heart failure, or stroke. And this is where I'd mentioned most cardiovascular diseases doesn't have to happen. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Americans can add 7 years to their life expectancy if the cardiovascular issues were eradicated. And so wearing nitric oxide ensures that you are going to improve your health on all levels, and not only that, but that you're going to have the possibility of extending your lifespan, life expectancy. So the question is, how do I know that I have a deficiency? Yes, I do. When my clients come in, I do have a little test strip I'll show you in a minute, but most of us can tell without having to have a test strip. Symptoms of nitric oxide deficiency can be really difficult to discern because most of us feel fatigued, burnt out, or tired by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. These people are usually hard workers, and they have pushed themselves to exhaustion by utilizing all of their nitric oxide stores. Many people may not even realize that they are experiencing the effects of nitric oxide deficiency because it has dwindled slowly over time. And they think that this is how they usually should feel. Now, some people think they're getting older and that they do not have energy like they used to. And if you're experiencing any of those symptoms in and of itself, it's time to check your nitric oxide levels. But in looking here, you can see these are also areas to look at: the decreased workout potential, less energy at the gym or in your workout routine, less stamina and endurance, erectile dysfunction or a decreased libido, poor memory and concentration, irritability, depression and anxiety, insomnia or difficulty sleeping, high blood pressure, decreased heart function, asthma or poor lung function, and thin bones. And so thin bones, you can tell a lot of times, of course, that means also calcium is involved with that, but thin bones, you can test yourself to, and vitamin D deficiency as well. You can test yourself by seeing if you have soreness, what we call bone soreness. That's usually early indicators of possibly thin bones. So as I mentioned, I use the Berkeley test strips. They're very inexpensive. You can buy a pack of 50 for, it's like maybe $50. If you buy more, it's a lot cheaper. But it's a very simple process that you stick in and get a saliva sample, fold it together to where the saliva connects with whatever chemical they have, reactive process they have on the other strip, and then you'll compare it to the colors here to determine how depleted you are. Most of the people that I have coming in are extremely depleted, and everything on their HeartQuest scan is consistent with what that shows right there. So that's why that's one of the first things that I do is to put everybody on nitric oxide qubit. for sure.
So Dr. Pat, so people just use this particular test and get their saliva on it, and then they can get their reading. How long after they put the qubits on should they retest, would you recommend?
Well, actually, honestly, you'll get improvement almost immediately. I have, for some people, I have we put it on, and about 15 to 30 minutes later, we'll reassess with the test strip, and they will see some slight improvement. But I'm careful about that with that particular thing, because this is not it's not as sensitive, of course, and it really takes more than 1 or 2 strips. If they're as deficient as that one on top that says depleted, they really need to be, I usually have them starting off with 3 or 4. And of course, I look at their HeartQuest scans as well.
And I think that's good advice. I know everyone I have ever tested has always been depleted.
Correct. So there are a couple of ways that you might want to work that. I mean, before I used these test strips and found this, I had faithfully worn 2 of these at a time, and then when I got the test strips, I was still depleted, so I was a little surprised. And then when I started processing through and thinking more about how nitric oxide works in our body and how all the things that I've shared with you up until this point occurs, I realized that the more sensitive approach for me, obviously not everyone has a HeartQuest scan that they can do. You can see immediate results on there, and then there are cumulative results with that. But in addition to increasing my nitric oxide qubits, which is constantly working, I also began to supplement through the use of food with the beet. I use beet powder, which really made a big difference.
Okay.
Fantastic. But we'll talk more about that too. I want to be sure that people understand. I think that the strips are the qubits are the most critical. But certainly, if we are really depleted, you're not feeling the results. We'll talk. Let's move on, because I'll talk about what you need to look for. So, how can you tell when you have enough nitric oxide in your system? You should notice an increased energy. You should notice improved sleeping, significantly lowered blood pressure, improved stamina, quicker recovery from fatigue or workout sessions, and breathing is a lot easier, less labored, and for those who have asthma, there would be fewer asthmatic symptoms in that process. A lot of people I know might wear wear the qubits, and they'll come in for their next visit, and they'll say, "Pat, honestly, I just don't think these are working." And I'll say, "Well, let's take a look at what the HeartQuest scan is showing us." And definitely they see improvements there, no doubt. But this is a good way, and this means if you're not feeling anything any differently, then you probably are needing to add more qubits initially, as well as maybe taking a supplement, like the beet powder or something. So here's the important question: why AEGEA? Why not just take supplements? Yes, you can just take supplements, but because of the low nitric oxide in your system, first of all, you're not going to be absorbing what you're getting into your system. And I want you to know that although nitric oxide may be abundant in the body, it's really unstable and very short-lived, and it must be renewed continuously. That is a critical statement there for us to understand. That's why AEGEA is so important to use these qubits, because it provides us with a constant supply. And you know, you can't overdose on it, because it's energy, and your body is using whatever, as much as it needs at the time that it's needing it. So this is really important for us to be using AEGEA products in addition to whatever else we may include in our diet and our exercise regimen. So let's talk a minute about who can benefit from it. We also know that infants and children, that's been used in hospitals to help them with medical conditions. We are not medical doctors, and so what we talk about here is every person can use this, can benefit. Every person, no matter what their circumstances are. Or on a restorative level, we have men and women who have already suffered from cardiovascular damage. They definitely need to be using the qubits. Your athletes, or for quicker recoveries from extensive, very hard, extensive exercising. Anyone for a quicker recovery from any kind of an injury. Then we've got people who need to use it for prevention and maintenance. Any adult who is wanting to safeguard themselves from aging and from other factors in heart disease, as a powerful heart disease prevention. I'm going to make a side note here, but I want you to know when Medicare has approved DNA testing for those who qualify at no cost. Okay, I'm actually getting into the DNA testing, and what we're going to start doing is heart disease to see if we have any abnormalities in our DNA. Now, when Medicare is looking at that, and I mean, this is powerful. So I'm telling you, if we all use the nitric oxide, it's going to certainly improve our chances or decrease our risk for any kind of heart diseases. Peak performance is the other area that we need to look at in terms of, you have these athletes and sports-minded people who are simply wanting to enhance their sports performance and even optimize our cognitive performance. So that's covers just about everything and everyone.
That's fantastic. I know this for me. I work out about 5 or 6 days a week. And since I've been using the nitric oxide patches, and then of course I also use the quantum card, I have not had to recover from a workout. And it's really kind of surreal. I'm like, okay, now don't I normally have fatigue about now? And you know, it's not happening with these products. So this is incredible.
Absolutely. So like I had mentioned earlier, if initially you may want to use more than the recommended 2 to restore your depleted nitric oxide. And I will say my experience has been that you would want to wear, I usually wear 4. Okay, that sounds like a lot, but I'm a high energy person, and I will tell you there have been occasions that they have fallen off, and 1 or 2 maybe has fallen off, and I didn't replace it, and then it's time to change, and I end up forgetting to do that. There was a couple of days I was thinking, man, what is going on? I mean, I would literally just feel wiped out and even fall asleep sitting in my chair, sitting up. And I realized that it was because I did not have my nitric oxide on. And I'm thinking, and what a difference it made when I put my nitric oxide on. So in spite of all the efforts that we have, we really need to make sure that we're wearing them, and that you can supplement if you're finding that you're one of those like me that's really deficient.
Dr. Pat, are you going to tell us later where you place these, or is now a good time?
Well, normally, I guess it depends on what we're using it for, but for just general, what we're talking about right now, I usually put it along along where the carotid arteries are. Most people, the thin skin, I guess if you, the collarbone on each side, I don't know,
Yes, I can see it. So right at the collarbone, at the base of the neck.
Okay. Yes. So here's where I have mine right now. Okay. So a lot of times, right in through here and here, you can feel it. So this is your collarbone here. All right, and then you want to slip down to right, there's a hollow spot under there, so even that's a good area there, because that's your carotid arteries there, and anywhere along in those areas there. Those are good spots. And of course, I talked with a scientist. I talked with a scientist who actually was involved in the development of nitric oxide qubits and other energy kinds of things. And he says he wears one right on his heart all the time. Okay, and of course men can probably do that better than women because we've got a lot more tissue in that area, but that's a good place also to be placing them, is real near the heart area.
And Dr. Pat, you know, what do you think about placing additional qubits at the top of the spine, maybe over to the right, or even at the bottom of the spine over to the left? Would that be good also as well?
Absolutely. And even if you have an area, an injured area, you would want to place, not only have them here, your normal, but you would want to place them around the area of the injury site or on the injury site, if it's not an open wound. So I wanted to share, you know, to increase your nitric oxide, it definitely decreases, the production of nitric oxide definitely decreases with age, but you want to exercise, and diet can definitely increase the production. And so I had listed some of the nitric oxide boosting foods. Of course, the beets and beet juice is ideal, very quick and easy. Any dark green leafy vegetable is awesome. Artichokes, the hawthorn extract, your nuts and fruits, which gives you the ingredients that combines to make the nitric oxide, the L-arginine, the L-citrulline, sesame seeds, and then for those that eat meat, crab, shrimp, and white turkey are good sources for it. So I heard one lady that was talking about her father the last 4 months. My mother is 89 years old, and she has had high blood pressure for as long as I can remember, and her heart rate her blood pressure has been an averaging around 167 over 106 on a fairly decent day, but it would be much higher sometimes, and even with her taking her blood pressure medicine. And but this has been going on for a long time. I started her using the Q-meds in April of last year. She only wears one, or now she's wearing two. And in July of last year, after having only worn them for several months, her blood pressure was 126 over 96. That's pretty amazing, I felt. That was at a cardiology appointment. Then in the next following month, it was 147 over 90. In August, the same month, she had gone to her general practitioner. It was 136 over 80. So she has maintained a fairly low blood pressure. And I will say, I went for the first time in forever to have my wellness and my annual checkup. And my blood pressure, even though it was pretty normal to begin with, was really low. It was like 100 and it was like 110 over 78.
Amazing.
I've never had blood pressure that low. So I did not put all the details that is in a HeartQuest scan. There is a huge amount of information in there where you look at the autonomic nervous system and all the details for the different systems. But all of this is based on heart rate variability. And that top line there, I have the exact times because when I do the HeartQuest scan, it dates the time and the date. You can see on that top line, my cardiovascular system, everything across the board here. You can see where I was in a very highly stressed mood state because I'd had a lot of technical issues and I had to be online. That's why it was so late in the at night to get that taken care of and resolved. And I'd waited till I was a little, after things were over with and calmed down. But then I put the nitric oxide, and I only put on one, okay? Because I didn't know, I had not researched it or anything. I just learned about this technology at that time. So I put on one, and then about 40 or 50 minutes later, you can see the second row there didn't have much change in the cardiovascular system at that time. Remember, I said that things are cumulative. Not everything changes at one time because, after all, we didn't get the way we are overnight.
Right.
And so you can see, though, what it did to my autonomic nervous system went up to 62%. 35%. That's pretty phenomenal. And then if you'll skip over to where the fourth one that's yellow, that says 69%, that was my neurohormonal regulation. Remember, it talked about the neurotransmitters increasing oxygen to the brain. So that's what was happening there. And then we had the 66. I can't see that. Can you move that over, or whatever is on the screen there?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, and it went from 66, it was at 52% in the yellow zone, which is not good, and to 66%, which is excellent because that was in the green zone of the psycho-emotional state. Overall, I went from 28% efficiency overall on how my overall state of health and how things are working together to 60%. I didn't do anything any differently over the next 10 days other than wear one of the qubits. And so you can see on February 26th, I had a significant improvement across the board.
All right, we're going to have to wrap things
Okay.
up. We're running over today.
Okay, sorry. I need to probably put a clock out in front of me here, but this is showing a scattergram. It's showing the autonomic, how the autonomic nervous system has influence, direct influence over your heart rhythm. And when it's a real tight, it's really tight here, that's not good. That's indicating that there's a significant amount of influence on your heart rhythm. Here you can see within a matter of 40, 50 minutes that it was breaking up. And then here you can see that it was even more broken up.
Fantastic. So we can see that things are definitely happening. So, Dr. Pat, was there anything else before we wrap up? This was absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you. I hope that there was some information that people could benefit from, but I think the message I want to emphasize is we need to be wearing nitric oxide qubits all the time.
Thank you so much. I think that is the takeaway. This was an excellent presentation, and I thank you for all the work and time you put into it. Kara will be getting the recording out to you all very soon, and you can share it with your team and share it with your prospects. Before you go, I have one announcement. You probably saw in the email that we are going to be starting a new little fun program where when you bring a guest to one of our presentations, you have the opportunity to win some product. And so I am pleased to announce that myself, David Blackburn, and Hannah today, who brought guests, will be receiving a free quantum card that is valued at $300. So that is very exciting. So I encourage you to get your team on our Tuesday night opportunity call and bring a guest so that you can receive free products as well. And I recommend that you share this presentation that you've heard today. Again, thank you, Dr. Pat. Thank you all, AEGEA Nation. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Susie, thanks. Great job, Pat. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.